Welcome to another edition of Your Impact Attack. That's right, it's Your Impact Attack. VBC is back for another one. That is, hi, I'm the V. I'm the vet, Jamie Williams. He's the B, Brandon, the tag team partner tagging through the screen. Yeah, hot tag is made. What's up, Brandon?
Ha! Made that hot tech fit out the ring. Whoop, whoop. Start out the week right. How's everybody doing? Let's get it.
All right, we're getting it. It's live on a Monday, and we are here with the C, and that is the chat. And even though it's early, we still got at least a four horsemen's worth of people, do we not?
Indeed, we do. We got Lisbeth with us. We got Lab Rat. We got Retro Rocket Review, and we got Al Robinson. Thank you all for joining us. Hope you're having a great night. Let's make it whoop, whoop.
Whoop. And kind of, for, I guess it's a good thing. It's kind of light on news this week, I think. I haven't really seen anything that was major news. Maybe one talking point or so, but yeah, what about you? Did you see anything that's a pertinent matter that we must address?
Nah, man, nothing big. I think things are kind of lying low because I think, I gotta agree with, Ben and all of them. I think once we get to that week leading up to WrestleMania, that's when the shit's gonna hit the fan.
Interesting. Well,
In fact, I was reading something earlier that apparently sources close to Vince McMahon are saying he is preparing for a shitstorm and he's getting his war chest ready.
whatever that means. Yeah. So yeah, well, I mean, for now, no news is good news, I guess. The WWE continues to make, you know, moves that are not necessarily Vince McMahon like. But they're also, it's not something you could say, oh, well, this is just part of the new endeavor, corporate rebrand, restructure, operations, whatever. These are clearly pro wrestling things. Like, I'm not sure that anybody in Endeavor is like, hey, we need Thunderbolt Patterson in the Hall of Fame. But that definitely sounds like a Triple H deal. Um, I'm not sure anybody in Endeavor is like, hey, let's let Shayna Baszler work a GCW event. But that sounds like a Triple H deal. So if you didn't hear about that, they have the blood sport thing that Josh Barnett does with GCW, and so Shayna Baszler announced that she's going to be doing that. She's going to be facing somebody. I forget if she said who, but she's going to be there. But also to tie this into TNA somewhat, um, Nick Nemeth is supposed to work the same event. So, and then there's going to be some AEW people on that event. So we're going to have like a multi-promotional event with GCW's Bloodsport this time during WrestleMania weekend. So quite an interesting development, and these kind of things would just they just don't happen, right? Under the old regime, let's say. Other little things that people probably wouldn't see, right? Like, so when what's her name? Speaking of Shayna Baszler, when what's her name? Oh, Jessamine Duke started her YouTube channel. She used to have like her friends on there, people like Mia Yim, people like Shayna, people like, whoever. And then after that whole fiasco where everybody got into it over their Twitch channels and their, their own individual deals that they had, and having to get that signed off on by the WWE and them having a cut of it. Um, all of a sudden, uh, Jessamine's friends aren't appearing on her channel anymore. And then most recently, I just saw, one of her videos on her channel. Also, it's got Mia Yim back and somebody else. It might have been Shayna, because I know Shayna used to do stuff. They're all the four horsewomen are still friends, as far as I know. So
Well, yeah, because what was it? Rousey did that ROH show for to do just a tag with Marina Shafir.
mm-hmm. Yep. So even though things didn't work out for them as a group in WWE, probably the way they originally planned it, I don't think anything personal happened between them. So, but now seeing WWE contracted people show backup on things like that, getting booked for things like a GCW. Um, if you guys remember, any longtime listeners, you guys know that I've said multiple times that the best way that I see the business moving forward is for it to be like something, not exactly, it's never going to be exactly like a territory system, but for the WWE to be just another territory, and for things like talent exchanges to continue to happen. WWE can't have all these people locked down under contract just to do nothing. So, like, if they don't have anything for Shayna at Mania 40, why not let her work a GCW event that weekend? Even if they did, why not have her work an event that weekend? Why not let people use that to extend the brand recognition? It's just the way things used to be, and that's the way things can be again. And the WWE can help raise the awareness of all of the smaller promotions, right?
Yep. And a place like, TNA would be a perfect like testing ground and get your reps in place for like, okay, I want to try out this character, I want to try out this gimmick. And you can do it in front of a crowd on a platform that has name brand, has recognition. People know what it is. It's got people watching it, even though it's not a lot, but it's still got recognition. And you can raise your stock there for an AEW or a WWE to be like, okay, I want to sign this person or bring them back.
That's right. Yeah, people could be doing location, like on location scouting reports for anybody she sees. Like, wow, this person really impressed me. Um, there's no, there's just, in my opinion, it's just been a thing of there's no real good reason why a lot of things haven't been happening as far as the whole business. And what are we really doing to expand it and further it? Is something like a WWE should be cultivating everything, being the leaders of the industry, and then instead it seems like they've been suppressing the industry, and it didn't really do anybody any good, because the whole time they've been doing that, what has really changed? And you look at just the things that have happened in the past year, the kind of moves that have been made and the differences that have been made, you already can see, like, apparently, you know, for WWE's own business, houses are kind of up, they look to be doing more things. I don't really like the I don't like the idea of and I want to ask you about this too, because of the Logan Paul thing, where they're going to have the Prime logo on the mat, you know? Um Personally, I don't like it. That'd be one of the handful of things I agree with Vince McMahon on. I don't like shit on the canvas. I think it makes you look broke. Every time you look like every time you see Impact, and you see the little stuff on the mat with whatever shitty movie they're trying to get over, or when I look at New Japan with all these local sponsorships on the mat, and just it makes you, to me, it gives the impression that you're broke. That's just my personal opinion. But I wanted to ask you, Even though I know how it looks, I know that's kind of the opposite because people are paying you for that ad space. So and that's a thing that WWE is doing more with their ad integrations and things, cinnamon toast crunch matches, prime energy spotlights on the mat. Like all these things are like more big business for them. Business is up, business is good. As well as they're letting other talent branch out. They're not being as restrictive for what they can do for themselves. And it seems like as a result of them loosening those reins, they're becoming more successful. I don't want to say it's a direct result, but it's probably not a complete coincidence. But what do you think about the whole brand advertising on the like the ring canvas?
I can definitely see the arguments against it, but me personally, I really don't see an issue with it. I mean, like you said, New Japan does it, UFC does it, and they certainly are not poor at all. Like they're doing very well business wise. And I think that that's one of the reasons that helps them do it because that's, as Ben says, that's prime real estate spot for advertising and extra money just sitting there waiting to be made. Now, as far as how it gets on the canvas, the only real issue I have with that is the safety of the people in the ring. Like if it's done in a way where it's like I think what was it? Was it RBV who said somebody who like threads it into the canvas? So if it's like
Mm,
done that way where it's actually like part of the canvas and not printed on it, then I could, be okay with that. But if it's like, screen printed or decals and yeah, with all the running around going on in the ring, like the safety is, obviously most important.
sure. Well, if they really want it, they can just project it on there.
That's also to another option I was thinking, like using LED or like AI visuals or just whatever. Like that actually might be better. Like, say like this match is sponsored by these guys. All right, this next match is sponsored by this brand. This next match is sponsored by, so and so.
Yeah. Well, they've done that in the past, and they've had stuff on AEW. Like I remember the Rick and Morty turnbuckles and all this other stuff, but it's never the WWE's never had it on the mat. The mat's always been clean, and I always kind of like that. So personally, I don't like the look of it, but for the things like when they have the other sponsorships and they take those LED boards that are kind of around the barricades and everything else like that and kind of light that up, I think that gives it a different look and a different opportunity. But um, you know, whatever they want to do, it's just the way things are going to be. But um, overall, for the business, it seems like the things that are happening are a little bit more. I don't know. It just goes to show you that some doors can. Some doors that have been closed can be reopened, and that's probably good for everybody. So I'm looking forward to seeing the different kind of changes like that. I haven't been too upset with um anything that I've seen so far, and even the ring mat advertisements are just a matter of my personal opinion. So totally understand why they're doing it. But um yeah, so a lot of interesting things coming in the next weeks and months and years to come, and we'll see whether this was good for business, best for business, and that's pretty much all I've got to start off. So if we have no further ado, I guess we can start talking about this episode of Impact.
Man, it, the one thing that really strikes me about all this, it's just so weird to see a WWE and how different and how quickly it's becoming different without a McMahon at the helm.
Yep. And it's all stuff that could have always happened. There's really no most of the things that are most of the things that are happening that didn't used to happen, it's just based on pettiness. Like that's really all it is. There's no reason that you couldn't have done some of these things in the past. So, um, so let's see. TNA Impact for March 14th. Um,
Hi day.
we have our traditional ketchup packet to start. There it is. As we see, visual of the ketchup packet. And we're starting off pretty strong here. We got a rematch for the X Division Championship, except now the belt's on the other waist because it's Ali defending against Chris Sabin. When they put the little X Factors graphics up on the screen, one of the X Factors was can Sabin keep his emotions in check? And I was like, wait a minute. This is a gimmick for another guy, isn't it? Somebody there really loves that phrase. I don't know who it is. Is this a Tommy Dreamer thing? Like, does he love that phrase? He's very emotional, so we can, that's probably something that somebody's told Tommy about his crying all the damn time, It's just, and so he's just using that as art imitating life. So, that's a funny comment from Retro Rocker. He says, "What did you have on Next Level Review to get it banned by WWE?" That's very funny. So you guys know, you can see now that we're live on the HMG channel, okay, on YouTube, right? Which we hadn't been, right? And it had nothing to do with any of the shows that we were on. Not any shows that I was on. Let's just say that there's a reason that when I have guests on my show, they are well vetted guests, pun intended, and they're not going to say anything that's going to cause us to get any strikes or anything like that because everybody's a pro and knows how to play ball. And that's all I'll say about that for anybody that doesn't know. Nothing we did, nothing I did, nothing Big Ray, Brandon, Jimmy T, any of the people I work with, not even Ben doesn't even really use the channel, so it's not him. Just know that. But we're back now on probation, and we're not going to get any strikes anymore, right, Brandon? Certainly not us.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So, Todd Brantley said, didn't know Next Level Review is still a thing. Fuck you, Todd Brantley. How's that for a comment? So anyway, so we're talking about Sabin keeping his emotions in check, and he starts by beating up Ali's Secret Service. So I don't know if that's him keeping emotions in check or if perhaps it's a strategy. This is a good strategy. Um, but yeah. So they have a match. What did you think of the match?
Match was all right until they started no selling the super kicks. And this match fell victim to the what I call the TNA effect, where like the structure and the build is all right, and the heat. I like the heat and how they work it. Then it gets to a point where all right, we got to fill time, so let's completely shit on and no sell all the heat we did just to get all our shit in to fill time, and then someone goes over.
And that's been a TNA effect trademark since 2002. Glad to see us kept this tradition alive. Yeah, I agree with you. I really no desire to see these guys. I never have. But you know, they're working hard. Uh, as Jim Cornette would say, for the type of people that like that sort of thing, that's the sort of thing those type of people like. Um, no selling super kicks and all. And then at some point Ali brings the belt in, like he thinks about it. He's like, I don't know, should I do it? And then he grabs it and rolls it in. And he goes to use it in full view of the referee and gets thwarted. And then it ends up with Sabin, and then he charges across the entire length of the ring from corner to corner with the belt to hit Ali with the belt again in full view of the referee. Just not in his mind, this must be part of the emotions in check thing. He's like, I don't care if I win this title. And then he just charges, and then Ali moves. He ducks the belt shot in the corner, schoolboys Chris Sabin, and puts his feet up on the ropes, 1, 2, 3, and gets out. I'll give them credit. This is the best that spot has probably ever looked in a long, long time that I've seen. Like the timing of it, the positioning of it, the referee just not seeing it. Like it actually looked like a leverage pin that Chris Sabin might not have been able to get out of. Most of the times people just put their feet on the rope, and I'm like, you actually made it easier to kick out for them. Or that one time when what was it like? Didn't I cut a whole promo on somebody for like doing the thing where they grabbed the ropes and then like the guy's shoulders were completely free to get off the canvas by him grabbing? It was Frankie Kazarian, right? That's who it was.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I was like, you ruined the finish by doing the rope grab. This Ali took that schoolboy and put his feet up on the top rope. Even that's how good it was. He put his feet up on the top rope and held Chris Sabin down. It looked smooth. Almost enough for me to forgive all the no selling that was happening earlier in the match, just because the way they pulled the finish off. So I'll give them the credit for that finish. If you didn't see it, just go back and watch just that finish. It's the first match on the show. So proud of those guys for that. Perfect. But like we said, just the rest of it was, well, this is just how wrestling is these days, I guess.
Basically, here's like a good visualization. Here's the finish of the match. Here's where the finish should happen. Everything in between is a bunch of no-selling, masturbatory, get your shit in bullshit.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. So we're back now with the trio of wanted 7-ball. Is that what we should call these these guys? I know they want to go Speedball Mountain, but I like 7-ball better. What do you guys think? You guys in the chat, can you make your vote? 7-ball or Speedball Mountain? But they're wanted because Nick Nemeth is there.
They both sound like drug slang.
There's no way around it. But anyway, whatever you call them, all three of them are with Gia and no music underneath. And it's like we have 2 80s throwbacks and Trent. And if Trent could be an 80s throwback if he's like, if you just want to say it's a British wrestler with a bad body, like I guess that could be an 80s throwback too. But yeah, and this is an 80s throwback Survivor Series style promo. So I actually like this because the way it felt like one of those, like, one of those old WWF where everybody's standing there with Mean Gene thing, except it's Mean Gia. So so this was actually not bad. I liked it. And then at the end, because Speedball's there, everybody bows. Even Gia bowed too. It was funny. So I liked it. I'll give this a thumbs up. What about you?
No, as far as the feel and just the overall vibe and the delivery and all that, yeah, I'm with you. It's just, I thought the content was just really cringe. Like the comment of like how they're the best trio of all time. It's like, you guys aren't even the best trio in TNA history.
Whatever.
Like as soon as they said, I'm even like, like Triple X.
Yeah, they're better than them.
3 Live Crew.
way better. We're better than 3 Live Crew. Come on. The the 3 Live Crew ever have a mustache? Come on. Come on now. I don't know. So next is Josh Alexander in the ring, being a baby face, just doing things baby faces do, like complaining about his match results and complaining about the heel taking his headgear. Just classic baby face promo. And then he actually calls out Hammerstone, but instead he gets Bravo and Oleg. And he's like, "Where's Dango?" And then Dango jumps him from behind. Security very promptly gets there, so they're doing their job tonight so far. They get between Oleg and Josh, and then Santino comes out with his music, and he, with the power vested in him, he summons a referee, and then they get a referee out there for and then I started writing down. Okay, I'm on my phone, right? So I'm watching this on my screen. I got my phone. I'm making my notes. I'm like typing. Okay, Josh versus Oleg. Wait, it's over. Ankle lock, tap out. Josh Alexander wins. So, what do you
Well,
think?
Proteus is buried.
Proteus is buried, or Josh Alexander just that good? I'm trying.
I don't know. Like you had everything in place that you could have like got where you wanted to go without burying Proteus and keeping Alexander looking strong. I mean, 3 guys to 1, and one of them's Proteus.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I got nothing for you. I got nothing.
Plus, where is Hammerstone on this show?
He's probably had some other stuff he had to do. He was washing his hair. He was in the gym. He was getting a tan. I don't know. What about
What I think he should do, that'd be kind of entertaining, is if he carried that headgear around and took pictures of him like flexing with it at various places. Like wherever he goes, just like, I'm in the gym, I'm getting in my car, I'm in the drive-through.
Yeah, he should. And then it'll be one of those things where it's like, well, you just had this headgear you just got from somewhere, and he took your only piece, and you can't replace it. There's no way you could have. There's no way at home that you have like 2 or 3 more, or like that you could get another one. You just have to walk around without your headgear now. Like if this is his way of like not wearing that stuff anymore, then okay, that's fine. But then that's just the one thing less that sets you apart from every other bald white guy with a beard in wrestling. So I wouldn't recommend it, but if he's tired of wearing it, then okay. But I always think it's funny when it's like, it's one of those things like when, if speaking since this TNA, I'll use this example, right? So if PCO steals Bret Hart's jacket, right? That's Bret Hart's personal jacket. I can understand having some sentimentality over a jacket that you have, right? If it's a piece of like amateur wrestling, headgear, you just go to the sporting goods store and get another one. You don't really like, you don't have that's not your whole identity, right? Like it's harder to be sentimental about a specific piece of replaceable equipment. That's like stealing a guy's knee pad. Like, no, not my knee pad. You realize how many knees I dropped on guys with that knee pad? How am I supposed to go on? This is personal now. I'm coming for you, Alexander Hammerstone, you knee pad thief. Right?
True. Yeah, they should have done more to make the headgear special. I agree with you. Oh, and by the way, the whole thing of PCO stealing Bret Hart's jacket, that was a real angle 30 years ago.
Yeah, it was the best they could come up with to get those guys in. And he also wasn't a Frankenstein yet. He was
No,
just
he was
a
a
pirate.
pirate.
Yeah, still a pirate. Still sailing the seven seas. And stealing jackets. So Crazy Steve is on the ramp, and he's got a promo now. And he says, not another human alive can handle the kind of pressure he's been under, which is the cue for PCO to come out and steal his jacket. But I don't think he did. I think they just stared at each other, and then they didn't know how to get out of the segment, so they just cut. Any comment?
I see them becoming a tag team out of this.
You're crazy. I'm dead. Let's do this. All right. So they show a little clip for Sacrifice where ABC took exception to Kaz's interference in their match, and he called them a couple of pussies or something. I don't know. Whatever he said got bleeped out. So that brings us to Kazarian versus Ace here. Jade reminds us that Kaz is the king of TNA. So yeah. Again, this is just I mean it's a fine match. Nothing really on the line. Kowalski's pride not on the line, nothing like that. They had a nice finish. Ace Austin went for like one of those weird bridging European pins that like Zack Sabre or somebody would do, and then Frankie countered it into the chicken wing and got him. And then afterwards, when what's his name? Chris Bay comes in to check on Ace. Then Frankie Kazarian boots him, and then he boots Ace again, and he just beats up both guys by himself. But Eric Young is running security now. He's one-man security. He rushes out there to make the save, and Kaz leaves. So that's that business. Guess we're not done. We're not done with Young and Kazarian, so look forward to more of that. Brandon, are you looking forward to more of that?
Oh, much super forward to that.
Okay.
In fact, I'm gonna make a prediction. I think we're gonna see more continuations of previous storylines. I think we're gonna see Kazarian join the system because Kowalski guys.
Well, is Lish a Kowalski guy too?
That's actually a good question. I don't know. I wonder who trained her. That I don't know.
We'll have to. Well, that's an interesting question because we have the system vignette next, where they kind of, it's a little something different that TNA is doing on this one, where they kind of like, I don't know who does it. What style of vignette would you say this is? Because it looks like one of those. It reminds me of something, but I forget what.
It looks like some sort of like, sports vignette where like it lists, like it goes through like every single like accomplishment and accolade like this person's achieved throughout their entire professional career across multiple sports.
That's right. They're like, there's a ticker on the bottom of the screen that scrolls saying everything, but they're also saying it. They're also saying it, what they're doing. Like Moose says what he's done. He talked about Belichick and the system and comparing that to the system. And he pitches it over to Myers, and Myers starts saying all the stuff he did, and Eddie says all the stuff he did. Lish didn't do anything, so that's why I was wondering, like, well, was she a Kowalski? Did she have anything? Did she even say anything? So we don't talk about her accomplishments, but the other three, they kind of cut back and forth to it's not just like one camera. So interesting, stylish. I liked it. It had Moose in it, so I'm already invested. It's enough to make up for the other guys. So and Liz says she's a Bobby Roode girl, so there you go. Mm, all right.
Bobby Roode's a
Anything
great
else?
trainer, but he's no Killer Kowalski.
No Killer Kowalski. No. Any other system vignette notes, or should we move on?
No, I thought this was decent. This is what they should have done and kicked the whole, faction off.
Right. Right. Gia catches up with Time Machine. And then she asks him a question, but before they can answer, Grizzly Young veterans come in and start talking shit. And then Alex Shelley volunteers them to face the Time Splitters if they want to see who's the best tag team. So there you
I
go.
forgot who it was, but it was Hannafan or Ray Walt. He said, made the observation of why did he assume it was the Time Splitters, not the Machine Guns, who were the best tag team?
Ooh, intrigue. We are intrigued.
I know, one of those things.
Yeah. All right. Finally, it's AJ Francis versus Joe Hendry in a singles match. We have waited for this. This is the build has all been for this. And we're showing, this despicable jerk, AJ Francis is at a charity basketball game sometime recently. And, he's hugging civilians and shooting baskets and raising awareness for gun violence. And
He's a heel, guys.
yeah, he's a heel. Go check out this heels song "We Outside" on Spotify. I listened to another interview with AJ Francis on the Strictly Business podcast that Eric Bischoff does, even though Eric Bischoff wasn't on it. And I was just like, man, he has got to just be staying in character this whole time to get heat. There's no way anybody can be like this.
Yeah, like everything I see about this dude, like beyond what he is on screen, nicest guy you ever want to meet.
Yes, as long as you like him talking about himself. Like if that's what you like, he is the nicest guy that there's ever been. I'm just really not sure. I'm not sure that it's an act, but whatever. He also ate Cheez-Its live on the. I could hear a bag rustling and him munching in the microphone with the Cheez-Its. So he's obviously just a genius who's really trying to be a heel, and he knows how to do it. That's all I can say. But speaking of heels, so in the match, the match was fine. Him and Hendry, yeah, nothing bad to say about it. But at the end, um, Rich Swann comes in and they're both like fighting for a chair, and he gets the chair, and in a turn that no one could have possibly seen coming, he hits Joe Hendry with the chair and wakes up the referee, and AJ Francis gets a nice pinfall victory over Joe Hendry. I can't believe you, Rich Swann. I can't believe you. How could you? You bastard. He hurt Joe Hendry with that chair, but I think he hurt my feelings even more. Brandon, are you too devastated to go on with this show? I can understand if we want to just call it right here and send the people home.
I I think I need to take a mental health break from this. I mean, that's just too much to handle. I mean, a phony wrestling angle has got me so worked up that I don't know if I can continue.
All right. Well, we'll just have to. We'll let you go, and you and Nick Houseman can go and talk things over. Hopefully, you'll come to a better place mentally. Um,
I heard there's plenty of
but
room in the clubhouse to go hang out.
that's right. Clubhouse is closed. So, but anyway, I mean, what did you think of the whole thing?
No, I liked it, but it was we saw it coming the way that this whole thing had been being built with, AJ Francis trying to, convince Swan to side with him, and then the stuff with Swan getting annoyed with Hendry at the end of one of their other tag match. And honestly, Swan's needed something. He's needed something different. He's pretty much been in cruise control ever since. I would say ever since he lost the title to Kenny Omega, but ever since Willie Mack left.
Hmm. Which has been a long time. Well, I guess we'll see what's next for Rich Swan and AJ Francis, the new team. And could Joe Hendry find a small partner to team up with to counteract this 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 new turn of events? I don't know. Um, what about Ash by Elegance on the sound check? Uh, the conditions are not particularly ideal for her, even though they're the normal sound check conditions. But she sits on one of those cases anyway. Um, and she has a big announcement exclusive for the sound check that she's going to have her third match. So that's a big deal. And Alan Angels is very happy, obviously. This is the smoothest that the sound check has ever gone. So I guess he's finding his, show hosting legs or whatever. But there you go. Third match.
No, I liked this entire segment. I thought the way Ash played off everything in character and just like reacted to everything around her, I thought was spot on. I thought her concierge did a great job with that too. Alan Angels, I think he's really starting to settle into this character of like just this like completely lack of self-awareness, delusional, whatever it is that he's doing, but he knows what he's doing and he's nailing it.
Did you think the line about him uh spending his life savings on this was a reference to even just getting her to appear on the thing? Like he had to pay an appearance fee?
Man, I may have been, but that'd have been a good one.
Yeah. All right. Well, here's I guess what would be the opposite of a good one. Because we got Spitfire, who are the new Knockouts Tag Team Champions, in a match against others. Um, the names are Bia Moss and Vanna Black, but that's not really the important thing here. Then the lights go red, which means MK, and the lights go out, which means DK. We're not talking about Mortal Kombat and Donkey Kong. We're talking about.
Damn it.
I know. That'd be way better, right? Sponsorships. So then, it's MK Ultra and Decay are out to watch this live for whatever reason, just because it needs something. Because there's no reason for Spitfire to have a match. against these nobodies as champions. So they have a match against nobodies as champions, and unsurprisingly, they beat the nobodies. So, and of course, all due respect to these hardworking women, not calling them nobodies per se, but just in gimmick, they're there just so there's an excuse why all these teams are out there. And after Spitfire wins, nothing else really happens, right? Everybody just leaves calmly.
Yeah, nothing really happened. It just kind of felt more like, okay, we know this match is going to be a complete squash get over, so let's put MK Ultra and Decay out there just for the visual.
There it was.
Problem with that, but the problem with that though was it also highlights just how completely depleted your Knockouts tag division is. So it's your only 3 teams.
Yep. Yeah, you're right about that. Unless you want to throw something together. So, because we lost, we don't have Giselle and Savannah anymore. So that would have been a 4th team, but it's good that that's no longer a thing.
Could have been some, but they just completely buried it.
Well, speaking of former tag teams of Savannah Evans, we have when the announcers are making the card rundown that they usually do, Tasha Steelz chooses that that time to come out and make her case that she never got pinned, so she's not done with Jordynne Grace, so she wants a shot at the Knockouts Tag Team Championship, or not tag team. Still thinking about the tag team, the Knockouts Championship that Jordynne Grace has. So there you go. She takes the mic and cuts her own promo. Tasha Steelz. Any other thoughts?
Wish there was more they could do with her. She's obviously got charisma and character and knows who she is and is comfortable on the mic.
All right. Well, now it's time for the main event. It's Bert and the Rascals versus the 80s. Speaking of the 80s, we have a 80s legend in the house, Master Splinter. Shout outs. He's trying to make a funny. Yeah. But what do you think? What do you think of this main event? We've seen a lot of multi-man main events recently that have been pretty good when they're involving the system, but now we have a non-system main event. So, what is it? What do we got? Is this any good?
Nah, I mean, they did some great work working heat on Trent Seven's leg, and then he completely no-sells it to the point where he can easily climb the ropes and hit a superplex.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, like, why am I supposed to care when you do all of that and then throw it away to get your shit in?
I don't think you are, but
Like, as guys I know that know better. Like, these guys know better.
well, do
I
they?
think.
Let's see. Burt Macklin, probably not. Rascals, definitely not. Let's see. Trent Seven, no. Speedball, no. Dolph, I mean, I've been saying no for years. Nobody believes me that he doesn't know better. But then again, just refresh my memory. Was he part of that spot you're talking about with the superplex?
I don't think so. I think he might have been. I don't remember where he was.
So they probably put that together, and he was just like, "Whatever, I don't care." It doesn't involve me. So, but yeah. So I guess I'm not sure if any of them would know better. It's just, this is even a guy like, I mean, I'm sure we've criticized Macklin for stuff in the past. Not anything necessarily like super egregious. It's not like he's been wrestling forever, you know. Uh, so even though he doesn't normally do that kind of spot stuff. Um, Usually, doesn't mean he knows any better. It's really him and Dolph for like the WWE products. Even though I know that Trent Seven was in NXT UK for a while, but he's never wrestled like anything but an indie guy. So, I don't know. After a further review, perhaps they don't know any better. So the finish of the match is that the Rascals are trying to hold what's his name in place for a dive, and then Macklin dives on him, and the guy moves, and he hits. I guess he hits. Which one did he hit? Not Wentz.
I think he hit Trey.
Yeah, he hit Trey Miguel with the dive, and then Wentz was like, "What are you doing?" And then they both abandon him, and he gets the kick and the dragon suplex and the danger zone, and he gets beat. And then the system hits the ring, and then Moose belts everyone. So I guess all that stuff they did doesn't really matter, because this is all about Moose coming out and the system standing tall at the end after belting everyone.
Yep, so it looks like we got our next tag team and world title program set up.
There you go. Wait, I'll take that. I'll take that, Brandon. I'll take that. We didn't spell anything wrong. Hey, I spelled it wrong. So for anybody that's worried about Skynet in the future, we're a long ways off.
Yep, I wish I had art skills and the time to do that, but unfortunately I do not. And it's much easier to put a prompt into a thing and let it print something out in 30 seconds I can throw together.
Yeah, man. It's better that way. You've seen all the thumbnails that you need to see on everywhere else on the internet. But with these, I always like seeing what it's going to come up with every week,
Dude, some of that
shit's even more entertaining than TNA, what they come up with sometimes.
Yeah, some of that shit's just 5 fingers, and what's this one doing on the other side of the person?
That's right. Yeah, they can't get hands right, so, But with that sort of brings a close to this episode of Impact, and it's sort of I don't know, we don't have another event coming up, like another one of their premium events coming up anytime soon, do we? Or
nah, in fact, I think they said the next one was I think they said Under Siege was in May. So we got a bit of a ways.
Good. Wow, they're not going to go all through April without having one of these, right? There's no way.
I'm sure they'll have like something going on WrestleMania weekend, but that's real. It's probably about it.
Okay. Well, in any case, so yeah, another random episode of Impact is over. Did you happen to punch it up?
I do. I got it right here.
All right.
So we started off with a recap and a ketchup packet. Mm-hmm. Then go to our intro and pyro and ballyhoo. Then we go to an earlier today where the system arrives in a limo. Cut to the announce table. They run down the card for the evening. Discuss the events that happened last week as well as at Sacrifice. Then we get an in-ring with the system music and entrance. System cut a promo on how they were successful at Sacrifice and want more gold. And they're going to add more gold. And they announced their newest member, Mustafa Ali. Ali music and entrance, Ali promo, and he adds "and the system" to his catchphrase. And now it's, what's the catchphrase?
In Ali we trust.
And Ali and the
Ali
system we
and the
trust.
system we trust.
Yeah. Then we get Santino music and entrance. Santino says that all members of the system will put their gold on the line tonight. Ali versus Sabin, Myers and Edwards versus Time Splitters, and Moose against a mystery opponent. Santino says Ali versus Sabin will happen after the commercial. We go to our first commercial break, come back with Mustafa Ali versus Chris Sabin. Announcers cover that Santino has barred the system from ringside. Ali's already in the ring. We get the Chris Sabin music and entrance and a condensed version of the match we got on the show. And then we go backstage with Gia and Nick Nemeth, Bailey, and Seven, and they cut a much less cringe promo than what we got on the show. Then we go backstage to the system's locker room. Ali enters the room and the group congratulates him. Moose says they're going to find and take out the mystery opponent before the main event.
How are they going to? They're just going to take out everybody one at a time, so there's no opponents left.
Pretty much the idea is, I think, the idea I'm trying to get over is they're going after everybody that hasn't already competed or isn't already supposed to wrestle that night.
Gotcha.
They're kind of doing like process of elimination. Then we go to an in-ring promo with Dango. Dango music and entrance with Bravo and Prudius. Dango gives his thoughts on the current state of the business, and he completely craps on it. And then we get Jake Something to come out, and Dango and Bravo bail from the ring. Jake and Prudius briefly brawl that ends with Jake sending Prudius to the outside. Jake leaves the ring and goes backstage before he's attacked by the system, and they lay him out. Then we go to our second commercial break. Backstage, Santino and Jake Something. Trainers are checking on Jake, and Santino says Jake is not the mystery opponent, and the system is getting fined. Match number 2, Ace Austin versus Frankie Kazarian. Ace Austin music and entrance with Chris Bay. Frankie Kazarian music and entrance, a condensed version of the match we got on the show. And then we go to the sound check. Same thing we got on the show. And then backstage, Eric Young. Eric Young is looking for Kazarian, and then he gets jumped and laid out by the system before Myers and Edwards head to the ring for their match and go to our third commercial break. Come back with match number 3, the Tag Team Championship, Myers and Edwards versus Time Splitters. Time Splitters music and entrance, Myers and Edwards music and entrance with Alicia. Myers and Edwards over after Time Splitters miscommunication. And then we go backstage with Moose and Ali. Moose and Ali watch the match on a monitor. The Good Hands approach them and ask to join the system. Ali's about to tell him to leave before Moose cuts him off. Moose whispers something to Ali before he tells the Good Hands to follow him. I want my Corey and Trevor, damn it. In-ring promo, we got Crazy Steve. Crazy Steve music and entrance. We get the same promo that we got on the show. PCO music and entrance, and they have their stare down. Then we go backstage with the system. Moose wants to take out PCO, but then Edwards says, leave PCO alone. He knows from experience, is not worth your time. As we all remember that one. And then then they look for someone else, and we go to our fourth commercial break. We come back to the backstage with Rhino. Rhino gets attacked, and he's laid out by the system. Then we go backstage with Gia and Time Machine. We get the same interview as we get on the show with the Grizzled Young Vets interrupting. And then match number 4, Knockouts Tag Team titles, Spitfire versus B. Moss and Vanna Black. Moss and Black already in the ring, Spitfire music and entrance, MK Ultra music and entrance, Decay music and entrance. Same match that we got on the show. And then we go to a pre-tape with Tasha Steelz cutting the same promo that she cut at the announce table. And then match number 5, Rascals and Macklin versus Nemeth, Bailey, and Seven. Rascals music and entrance, Macklin music and entrance, Speedball Mountain music and entrance, Nemeth music and entrance. Nemeth and Macklin start the match. They work a little bit. Macklin goes for a tag, but Rascals bail. Then just go right to the finish from there. And then you go backstage with the system. They laugh at Macklin. Edwards asks about Josh Alexander. Moose says no one has seen him all day. Then we go to match number 6, AJ Francis versus Joe Hendry. AJ Francis music and entrance, Joe Hendry music and entrance. Same pre-match Gaga that we got on the show. Condensed version of the match we got on the show with Swan turning heel, but no ref bump.
So
Then we go backstage. I mean, I was thinking of several different ways to do it. Like, there could be something where refs distract, like, like the chair comes into the ring and the ref's distracted and gets rid of it, and then Swan like nails Hendry with something, and then Swan hits his finish.
Okay.
I see where we're at now. Okay, then we go backstage to the System's locker room. The System hypes Moose before he heads to the ring for his match. There's a knock on the door, and Myers tells the person to come in. The System sees who it is, but the audience doesn't, and then we go to our 5th and final commercial break. Come back to backstage to the System's locker room where Myers, Edwards, and Ali are all laid out, and the announcers wonder who did it. We go to our New Japan hype video. Cut to the announce table. Run down next week's card. Then match number 7, TNA World Heavyweight Championship, Moose versus to be determined. Moose music and entrance. Josh Alexander music and entrance.
Oh my God.
Finish is ref bump. Alexander hits the C4 spike. Hammerstone runs down, hits his finish on Josh. Moose spears Josh. Ref recovers, counts to 3 for Moose. Post-match, Hammerstone destroys Josh and says he wants to take his place.
So, I find it interesting that Ali joins the System. And then, but you also have a Hammerstone, right? I wonder about maybe Ali remaining independent for now and then doing something with Hammerstone in the System. Even though he's a little bit, I mean, I don't want to say unproven, but I don't know. Just thinking about it. Not telling you that you should change your creative, but you made me think like, well, what else could potentially happen? Because in real life, I don't think they're going to do the Ali thing, of course, but Hammerstone, though, not necessarily out of the question. He has more accomplishments than Alicia Edwards anyway, so he might fit in there. But yeah. And then is she just going to be there, for that matter? Is she just going to be there, just standing there with Eddie all the time, or patting everybody on the shoulder? Like, see how, and she's been like running some interference during matches and everything, but like, what about her personally? Does she want something to do with a Knockouts championship? She should at least want to, right? So
I could see something like maybe trying to convince Jordan Grace to join them, and then when they don't, Alicia goes after the title to bring it to the group.
Well, we got a lot of options. Madison Rain's not an option though, since we hadn't mentioned. And there's a reason we don't mention her. Number 1, she doesn't work here. Number 2, she sucks. And she got hurt doing the simplest thing ever. Did you see that?
I have not seen that yet, no.
Okay, well, I don't know if anybody described it well enough, but essentially what happened was Deanna, which obviously we have very much experience covering Deanna Purrazzo, right? We don't. If there's one thing we're gonna say about Deanna is that she's not like a dangerous or unsafe person. So you can't really lay any of the blame on her for this, but she had Madison Rain in like a flatliner type move. And Madison Rayne took a DDT bump for some reason. I don't know why she decided she needed a bump on the top of her head, but she did. And because that wasn't what the move was going to be, I mean, all Deanna does is fall backwards, you know? So if you are taking the flatliner, you just fall forwards and you take a face bump. There should be no way you get hurt on that. Unless it's just one of those freak accidents where you were just like one straw away on the camel's back from, you know, and you break something like a finger or, some stupid little thing. But you're not gonna. It's not a real dangerous bump. It's just so all Deanna does is just fall backwards, and Madison Rayne spiked herself, and this woman is supposedly supposed to be like one of the producers or like she's supposed to be a trainer. Can't even. Anyway, I don't want to kick her while she's down, but I just find that I find that I'm flabbergasted that even happened. So there it is. We mentioned her. You happy now?
Whoop whoop.
Whoop whoop. All right, and that's it. So we are out of here. We've done all we can do, and we can't do no more. We will see you next week. Barring any catastrophes, we should be back here on the same channel, barring any suspensions. And we will definitely try to make our customary chicken salad and lemonade out of whatever TNA gives us. So, let's tell the people where they can find us until next week. Brandon?
As always, you can find me on Twitter, or as the kids call it these days, the X at Transarchistia. Once the streams get going again, I'm on twitch.tv/Miss Tia the Transarchist. And you can also catch me on Substack at HMG Brandon.
And look out for a new laptop.
Yep. It is here. It's just, it's got to get everything calibrated.
Yep. And then you should, is that going to be enough to get back and start streaming some retro games on Twitch?
It's very possible. Depending on how I can get things set up, I might be able to.
All right.
We shall see. I will give it the best I can.
All right. Look forward to it. As for me, you can find me at Opinion Haver on all your favorite social media platforms or regular platforms, including Twitch or anything else. Opinion Haver that's me. And you can find me every Wednesday on the Next Level Wrestling Review, not the Level Up Review, Todd Brantley, the Next Level Wrestling Review with Big Ray Hernandez, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, live on the Hameen Media Group YouTube and Twitch channels. So if you guys had to subscribe to Ray's channel for whatever reason, just go ahead and unsubscribe. You don't want to stay with that and getting notified for that. Nah, you probably want to stick around anyway. Our show has a history of getting kicked off anyway. So go ahead and stay subscribed to Big Ray's channel. And then we've also got every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, Jimmy T and I sift through the wreckage after Collision. So if you want to hear about everything that's going on with AEW and their Saturday show, then look no further. Join us live there, also on the usual channels. And then every Friday, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, Concrete, you have Wrestling with Rip Rogers, live Q&A. And then, of course, on his channel, he's got these territories videos where he talks about a certain territory. He's done the Portland. He's done the Mid-South. So a lot of Rip Rogers style storytelling on those short 20-minute or so videos. And they've got like lots of cool pictures and you know, that Von Lilas does some great job with the production, putting the pictures in at the right times, cutting to little video clips if applicable, So if you guys haven't, maybe you're not interested in asking Rip Rogers a question every week, but if you're not interested in that and you look for something more passive, and you want to see how things were before the WWE ruined everything, then or like maybe a preview of how things could be again in some ways, maybe not other ways, then go check out some of those videos. And speaking of videos, um, Stevie Richards, he's got a wrestling analysis, he's got a fitness, he's got a tech, he's got a wife, he's got so many different types of channels and a podcast. So and I saw a video today that says free workouts are coming soon. So if you've been looking to get into some Stevie Richards fitness yourself, it looks like he's going to be posting some workout videos that you guys can follow along with on the fitness channel. So in addition to his sponsored WrestleMania live watch along stream that he's planning, he's got some new chairs and they look very, very comfortable. So you can be comfortable in the fact that if you hang out with Stevie Richards, you're going to get a lot of insight and analysis during WrestleMania. So look forward to that. Follow all those guys. Follow us. Follow everybody. And there's the door. So for Brandon.